Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Uninformed Fan. My name is Tyson. This is my wonderful co-host, Jeffrey, who's decided to have breakfast right at the start of the stream today. Jeffrey, while you're taking that big swig of whatever it is you're drinking in that bottle, how are we doing today? You look really good today, by the way.
It's vodka. Thank you. I appreciate it. I feel great today. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk some sports. Life is good, man. You know, under the weather the past few days, and I'm starting to bounce back. I finally came to my senses and took some ivermectin yesterday.
Some what?
Ivermectin.
What is that?
It's the stuff they gave like a bunch of shit about during COVID for taking.
Ivermectin?
Like, yeah, same thing.
Well, you said E.
Ivermectin. It starts with an I. I think it's potato. It's fine.
I don't think so. Justice, what's going on? How we doing today? Pink, how we doing, my man? I'm sure you're here ready for the Teddy Bridgewater and Kyle Trask talk, I'm sure.
He actually texted me last week about my comments about having the second pick in fantasy football and which way I'm going to go. And I think he told me that he didn't believe a word that came out of my mouth. So take that for what it is. Here we are.
Yeah, it's nice to see that, once we start getting into the fantasy football breakdowns, that everybody's kind of coming out of the work, easy, Pink. Easy. He's QB3. All right. We just got trashed another extension, albeit a year. I don't understand. I think what they're going to do, they're going to lock up Baker and then they're going to lock up Trask. But honestly, I don't want that for Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask needs to spread his wings in there, but we're getting off topic already. But Jeff,
I think I saw something where it was like, so didn't Baker miss like the last two practices or something like that? And they're like, man, you put Kyle Trask with the ones for two practices and you immediately go out and sign Teddy Bridgewater. Rough.
You know what? Whatever. I'm not even gonna feed into this negativity about Kyle Trask as well. At the end of the day, it is what it is. When we're talking about preseason and camps and stuff, everybody puts too much weight on it, in my opinion. I do believe that, yes, okay, there's some weight to it, but obviously Caleb Williams misses 3 targets and has a little temper tantrum. Whatever, it's like he's a bust. He might be a bust, but give me a break, man. Until he starts seeing some preseason action. And like I said, the preseason is garbage. Pretty much the first 4 weeks of the NFL is now the real preseason. So we'll see what happens in there. But
before we hop into actually breaking down the NFC East and the AFC East today, what are your thoughts on what we've seen so far from Caleb Williams? And because there's been a lot of clips out there, and I tend to sway the terms of, you're learning a brand new offense. You have brand new offensive linemen around you. Ben Johnson's offense is very intricate. I don't mind throwing picks. I don't mind taking shots, especially this early on. But I got to make sure that your clarity, your headspace, and your confidence stays where it's supposed to be. as well too. And I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic for them heading into this year. What are your thoughts on what you've seen so far?
I think somebody said it perfectly on X. If Caleb Williams isn't the guy, then I give up on the Bears ever having a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, Jay Cutler had an amazing arm, couldn't win. Mitch Trubisky had some great talent around him. Won the NFC champ, but that didn't pan out. Justin Fields is an absolute freak of an athlete. Couldn't make that work. And now we have what everybody argued is the generational quarterback that we threw into a shit situation last year. There's a lot of people that are weighing this year on the Chicago Bears and all of these expectations. And sure, on paper, absolutely they should, but I'm not expecting much out of the Chicago Bears this year. I think you're going to see some blips. You're going to see some good stuff, but it's to your point. It's going to take a while. Obviously the fact of Dan Orlovsky, pretty much saying that it's going to take Caleb Williams years, to learn this offense. I don't know. Like I said, again, and I can't speak for all Bears fans, but I will speak for myself. I just want to see some progression. That's all. I just want to see something better than I saw last year. And if I see that, then I'm on the right track. It's very hard to win in the NFL. You look at some of the dynasties that are built, the Patriots, the Chiefs, they didn't start overnight. They built through the ranks. So let's build it up. Let's get some more game reps in. I think that, last year his spirit was completely broken. Especially what happened with the Commanders game. I mean, that would break pretty much anybody, in my opinion. I don't care how tough you are. So we'll see. Again, low expectations. Keep it low. That way, if you keep your expectations low, you're very rarely disappointed.
That's very true. Very true.
In some other news, though, before we do get into the breakdown, we had some interesting things happen with ESPN. ESPN and Disney are now in complete cahoots with the NFL and have acquired certain things, aka the Red Zone, NFL Network, and apparently game rights as well, that they're actually going to start broadcasting games on ESPN, which honestly, I can't believe it's taken this long. I mean, let's be honest, ESPN pretty much runs the sports world. Also, the NFL fantasy app and all that stuff will be integrated into the ESPN fantasy app, where now ESPN fantasy app is the official app of the NFL fantasy football. I also thought that was kind of weird. Just simply, we're only 4 weeks away, and like the integration of that app into the other app and all of this other stuff that could be happening. I think you're cutting that a little close, but what do I know? It is what it is.
Is that all happening this year? The integration of apps and everything like that?
I believe so. Yes. I believe it was immediate.
So I understand too that it's just weird to consume the entire part of it. But it is weird that, because look, I think at one point ESPN had Thursday Night Football. ESPN's always had Monday Night Football. It's always been ESPN and ABC. So that's already been there, and that's really the only thing that you're gaining from NFL Network are those two, right? Is you're gaining.
Thursday's still on Amazon.
Thursday nights. Is it still on Amazon?
Yeah.
So what does NFL Network have then exactly?
NFL Network just has all the replays. Obviously their comment shows. There's nothing really like a game that's on there. They have preseason.
So you get Kay Adams, you get Scott Hansen, you get
the receiver Kyle from the old Bryant. Panthers. What was his name?
I can't stand Steve Smith forever. Smith, yeah. If I ever see Steve Smith, I'll still tell him I can't stand him.
I'm sure he'll lose sleep.
Yeah, he couldn't care less. I couldn't care less either.
Seems like
just guy's just a dickhead.
Oh, international games 3 times is put that the international games.
Yeah, international games. Okay, so you'll have those. Scott better not be gone. If Scott is gone, then that
is a rumor.
You guys think January 6th was bad? Okay.
Yeah,
take Scott Hansen away from Red Zone, motherfuckers. We are storming the castle. Okay, fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out.
Interesting to see how this pans out in the next few years. I don't know. It is what it is. But the only thing I will say is that now that NFL is Hulu now is integrated into the ESPN app. Like that's all one. If it can go all into one, where I don't have to pay 5 different things, then okay. If that comes down to that, I'll be all for it. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can understand that.
Just keep Stephen A away from football, please. It's bad enough listening to him talk in the morning. Just keep him away from football, please. ESPN also, in another blockbuster deal, gets WWE streaming rights. I don't know what's happening with Disney at the moment. I don't know if it's just a worldwide takeover. They did have earnings that came out, and they did miss their earnings, and their stock actually tumbled today, even with this. So it's kind of weird that they timed it at this point. But yeah, ESPN is just getting on. You know, as far as wrestling goes, you know, every once in a while I'm watching my Big Bang reruns on TBS, there's something that comes on there and it really just pisses me off. But, you know, I don't know. I know that there's a big market for it. I know that everybody's still into it. But to me, it was just maybe it is to them what that was to me as far as the Hulk Hogan, RIP, the Andre the Giant, RIP, you know, the Undertaker, the Steiner brothers, you know, the Hitman Hart, and, you know, his brother. Like, I don't know. It felt, I don't know.
Yeah,
probably because
Justice. I'll say this: if this is an acquisition where they don't change anything and they still allow everybody to be everybody, then I'm all for it. But knowing how much Disney and ESPN can fumble and fuck up a wet dream, I wouldn't be surprised if this is exactly what it is that they're going to try to replace people and push more bullshit and their own narrative onto us.
And that view is entirely of Jeffrey and Jeffrey's view alone. I do not share his same thoughts on ESPN. I think it's a great company, and shout out to ESPN/Disney.
You work for him, so
I guess I'm on the payroll. I guess. In other news, more dildo sightings at the NBA games.
What a transition that we go from Disney and the little
D's.
ticker right there at the bottom to now anyway,
dildos on the court. It is now I guess we can call it an epidemic now, because you can now bet on the color of dildo that will be thrown out at a WNBA game.
Well, you could do that before last night. And the odds,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. After the first one it came out, there was a dildo prop bet.
Yeah, and I don't really care, like, whatever markets you want to say or whatever polls you want to look at. I think Polymarket is one of the best things to look at when it comes to the way that things are actually trending. And if you looked at Polymarket, 69% of the action yesterday
green dildo, right,
went crazy on green dildo and went crazy on it being done this week. Like the next time a dildo was going to be thrown was going to be done this week. And so yeah, wouldn't that be done.
Easy to fix?
For sure. You just got to sneak it in. However, you got to sneak it in.
Well, it's not going to set off a metal detector, right?
It's not. But you might get patted down.
Well, I'll just put it in my junk. That's how me, baby. I think there should be a prop, though. If you throw it and it lands so it sticks.
Right.
You know, like a headboard.
You want to incentivize them throwing these weapons of mass destruction onto a court.
That's the only way you're going to make keep the WNBA relevant. How about that? I mean, look, this is why we're talking about it. We're talking about the WNBA because of dildos, not because of the game, not because of anything. We're talking about dildos. When does the
fourth one land? I don't know when the fourth one lands. I don't know what they do here. I somehow they got to figure out how to stop showing this, because it is.
Jeremy, you got to clip this at some. You figure out how to clip this segment, dude.
It's going viral.
Title, I mean, with that title, okay, so. This is the bet, right? This is and I like this one right here. If it sticks, you should get the WNBA commissioner's job. I don't know about Mason, but you definitely should be rewarded in some way. Maybe a GoFundMe or something of that nature. But if you can throw a dildo to center court and have it stick to where you get the wobble, absolute legend. Challenge out there, party people. Make it happen.
Imagine if it became like the octopus, right, in hockey, or a hat trick, or something like that, where we came up with some kind of parameters where if you hit this milestone, everybody, like, clear the court, everybody just gets to launch one out there, and see what happens. Yeah, you're right. And listen, Sophia. First of all, one of my favorite players in WNBA, Sophie Cunningham, and she talks about it. She stuck up for Caitlin Clark. All of a sudden, she gained millions of followers. It is what it is. But she came out and she said, "Hey, listen, stop throwing dildos at the games. You're going to injure one. You're going to hit one of us, and we're going to get hurt." and she got hit with one last night and did not get hurt. And she tweeted out today, "This tweet has not aged well." And so,
at least she's got a sense of humor. Was that the
sure.
same one that also sat on the cameraman's face?
I don't know. Maybe yes, I believe so.
These are the things that we're talking about.
Describing the wobble.
The wobble.
You know, it is interesting as well too, because John, I don't know if you knew this. You asked when the fourth one landed. There was a fourth one thrown last night, and it didn't actually. What? No, fourth overall. They threw a second one last night, Jeremy. They threw a second one last night, and it didn't make it to the court, and unfortunately, it hit a child. So there was that.
Imagine that conversation. What was that?
We just got to be better. Can we be better as humans and humanity? I understand that it's funny, and we're joking around about this. And there's also a conspiracy theory out there as well too, is that while Caitlin Clark has been hurt, the WNBA, in a search for ratings, has done this themselves to be able to generate and stir up interest to keep the league relevant while Katie is sitting out. I don't think that is the case. That is a conspiracy theory that's out there. Take with that what you will.
Why do you need that when you got Pretty Boy Dave Portnoy being your cheerleader throughout the whole time?
I mean, if you actually like women's basketball, what Paige Buchers is doing right now is incredible as well too. She's putting. I think
you hit it. You hit it right on the head to start with.
Okay, we'll move on.
Let's move on. Yeah. So there it is. Our WNBA segment has concluded for the week.
No pun intended. Hit it right on the head, huh?
Yeah, right on the head. Let's get into it. We are finally weeks away from the kickoff of the NFL season. Welcome to the uninformed. What is this? Play some strap over the forward. What? We are weeks away from the NFL kickoff. We are going to kick it off right now with our NFL breakdown. We are going to do 2 conferences per week for the next 4 weeks leading up to the NFL season. Of course, there'll be some college sprinkled in there as well when we don't have 20 minutes of WNBA dildos to talk about. Let's get into it right away. We're going to start off with the East. We're going to start off with the NFC East. The reigning Super Bowl champions are in the NFC East, as well as the losers of the NFC Championship in the Commanders. Let's start off with the Eagles. The Eagles went 14-3 last year, heavily carried by Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts stealing the goal line touches with the tush push, and of course the defense by Vic Fangio that definitely lit up the floor. We have their over-under this year at 11.5. Now, that one seems interesting to me. Let's start there before we get into some fantasy targets here. Now, I talked on the last show about the defense, and I thought that the defense lost some players. They indeed did lose some defensive players. Let me go right here to departures. They lost, let's see here, Edge. They lost Josh Sweat, Bryce Huff, Milton Williams, Oren Burks, James Bradbury, Avonte Maddox, Isaiah Rogers, Darius Slay, and CJ Gardner-Johnson. And for just sakes, Rick Lovato. So I'm not saying that those holes haven't been plugged by who that they've gotten in. However, those are some big losses on a defense that was really dominant going into the year. So I don't think that you're going to see that defense right out the gate. I think there's some synergy that needs to be recouped with Vic Fangio and these new additions that they have to plug these holes. Still going to be a stout defense, but I don't think it's going to be a Texas levels defense. But honestly, when you look at this this conference, we're going to talk about the Commanders and Cowboys. Maybe the Giants have a nice little turnaround over here, but I think 11.5. I think that's pretty much the right spot on. Honestly, what are your thoughts, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I mean, so they did just make an actual move this past week as well, too. They traded for a nice young cornerback from the Las Vegas Raiders that they had, and Bennett, and they got back Booker, which is kind of an interesting trade as well, too. Obviously, you know, you're missing Slay. Coming off that, you're missing Maddox in the slot as well, too. But I just think it's more of like kind of a retool thing. I think Howie Roseman continues to be the best GM in all of football. I think the Eagles are still just set up for success. I mean, if you're looking at fantasy wise, you're talking about a guy like Saquon Barkley. Like I said, I have the second pick. It's a debate for me on whether I go him, Bijan, Jamar Chase, whoever's there. Not really sure what I'm going to do yet. I have a month to decide, thank God, and I'll kind of figure it out. But I do think Saquon's going to be top 3 or 4 in fantasy again. What's not to look at? And after what Saquon did last year at the end of the year, and literally just got better with every game when he got healthy more at the end of the year, he got more comfortable in the offense. I just think this is still, in my opinion, the cream of the crop in the NFC. I know Justice thinks the Washington Commanders are going to bounce back a little bit and have another great year. We've seen sophomore slumps over and over again, so I'm not buying that as much. I think at 11.5, I'm definitely probably taking the over here. I think they're probably going to go 14-3. I think they'll be the 1 seed in the NFC. I think if you're looking to handcuff a guy, I think, like Saquon Barkley, I think, I don't mind taking a guy like Shipley to make sure he's there. I'm not sure about taking A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Devontae, if you're looking for like a home run hitter as maybe a flex play or a wide receiver 3 with upside, A.J. was just very hit and miss for me last year. I felt like, and there was times where he disappeared. And if I'm going to take a guy that high in the first or second round, I need guaranteed targets. I need guaranteed end zone looks and red zone targets. And for me, so I'm probably not in on AJ Brown or their weapons, but that's because they're going to spread it around. I could see Goddard being an interesting play this year as well too. But yeah, I think there's the standard is the standard in Philly now. And I think you taste that success. It would be different if they didn't have a guy with the character like Jalen Hurts has, and he wants to be great. He wants to be really good, and so I'm still all in on the Eagles.
Well, I think that comes with basically getting no respect. I mean, he won a Super Bowl. As somebody that follows his card market, so he just gets no respect. His cards actually went down. To your point, Saquon Barkley was the top of the list as far as 345 carries last year, which is 41 more than Bijan Robinson for total carries. My biggest concern with him was the red zone targets. Not targets, but the red zone carries. He definitely was not. He didn't get those end zone touches because Jalen Hurts once again with the tush push. Sure. To your point as well, as far as the AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, neither one of them were in the top 15 as far as total targets in the 2024 season. And to your point, I just think it's just too much to be spread around. You're absolutely right. I think you're going to see a good problem to have. You're going to see a lot of that with the with this 2025 season, especially when it comes to fantasy, is that you're going to see a lot of these teams just have, a good depth chart to where they're going to be able to spread the ball around. I mean, even, the wide receiver 3, Johan Dotson, which was the former first-round pick, I believe, that just came over, still has something to prove. Dallas Goedert as well, that came over from Dallas a few years ago, has a lot of the touches. I agree. I don't think, outside of Saquon, I know that you tried to mention a little bit about Will Shipley or A.J. Dillon or Montrell Johnson Jr. as far as the backup goes. I feel like this is one of those ones, though. I don't know if the backup is even worth it because let's be honest, if the Philadelphia Eagles lose Saquon Barkley, I think that whole team's dynamics change 100%. I think it goes from, a mobile quarterback with Jalen Hurts possibly running us a little bit more of the run offense. It's just because a pass-happy team, which they can do that very easily as well. I don't like anybody personally. Let me see. Where did I put this at? Where's it at? Oh, I put it down here. I don't like anybody personally off the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think I'm going to be targeting anybody. Obviously, with the number 9, if Saquon Barkley's there for sure, but he's not going to be. I think
Jalen's interesting. I think Jalen's interesting, especially depending on your league, especially depending on the way it's set up. Because Jalen is still going to get rushing yards. And
he's also going to get those goal line tush pushes.
Right, but okay, so let's say you're looking at we're talking about floor and ceilings, right? And we're talking about where you think Jalen Hurts' floor is. I think Jalen Hurts' floor is still top 10 in fantasy quarterbacks, regardless of what we want to say. He's still going to rush for touchdowns. He's still going to get tush pushes. He's still going to throw, not for a ton of touchdowns, but he's also not going to throw a ton of picks. And he's still going to get, he's still probably going to average, 40 or 50 rushing yards a game, which is fine. I mean, the deciding factor in your games will be, does he get any rushing touchdowns? Because he can throw for one or two a game.
Know he will.
But will he get those 1 or 2 rushing touchdowns a game? Because you really want 3 or 4 touchdowns out of your quarterback, just depending on where you draft him at, and depending on how your league's set up too. But
yeah.
So where do you think you said you would take under 11.5 or over for an over?
I don't say. I think it's right on there. I don't.
Okay.
You know my feelings on this. I don't really bet those anyway. I feel like you can just find value throughout the year. So, to your point, I mean, who's beating them? I mean, the Commanders, to your point, as we go into this, and we'll just kind of transition into the Commanders as well. I believe with you as well. I think the Commanders coming off 12-5, offer that NFC Championship. I don't think we're going to see a complete CJ Stroud regression out of Jaden Daniels, but it's very hard to compete with those numbers back to back. I mean, put a record, he just broke every record. And let's be honest, there was some luck involved. Okay, so to what you want to say, a 50-yard complete the touchdown to beat the Bears, whatever. That is a lot of stat padding, in my opinion, because
for sure
it's a play that shouldn't have happened. So he got 50
close
extra yards, and an extra touchdown on there. And then to your point, I feel like they're going to regress. The Cowboys, I don't know. The Cowboys are shambles. So I don't. The Giants don't. I think if I had to do that, based on the Eagles and their inter conference schedule, I would probably have to take the over. The over under for the Commanders after coming off that 12-5 season is 9.5. I do think it's going to be a regression year. When you look at fantasy with them outside of, because Jaden Daniels is now in mock drafts going in the same conversation as Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts. They're all like 4 right in a row. I think that's absolutely insane. But I mean, who am I? I'm just the defending champion. I guess I don't know a whole lot. But when I'm looking at, well, yeah, it's definitely going to be a long year, man. Mark wouldn't even give me my trophy. He's like, well, we usually present it at I go, I don't remember any presentations, but whatever. So,
well, nobody else ever demanded it be presented, but it's fine. It's okay.
I just want it. I don't need it present. I said, I'll come get it. I want it right there. So that way, people. So, some of the Scary Terry, who's doing his holdout, I don't think that he puts up numbers of that last year. And even with that being said, his wide receiver targets last year definitely fell out of the top 15. He was not in the top 15. There was nobody from the Commanders that was in the top 15. I do like the addition of Deebo Samuel. I know that you don't like him in regards to aging, overweight, or whatever you said, out of shape person that's coming off of San Francisco. I actually do like them here, and I do like him even more where he's being drafted at. And I like him even more with the Scary Terry, because apparently there already have been conversations about trading him with the Miami Dolphins, possibly even for Tyreek Hill straight up.
Trading who?
Terry McLaurin.
Okay.
For Tyreek Hill straight up. Apparently, I saw that. Now, it could have been fake news. I don't know. I saw it on X. So it is what it is. But the fact that those conversations are happening means the Commanders are serious about moving him. And I just think that just puts more workload on Deebo Samuel. And then who's the tight end for the Commanders at the moment?
Zach Ertz.
So, and that's going to also tick up Zach Ertz' value, in my opinion, as well, the longer that Terry McLaurin holds out.
So a few thoughts about the Commanders. I don't want to take anything away from how amazing Jaden Daniels was. I do think there will be a little bit of regression back to the mean when it comes to some of the things that we saw him do last year. There were some unbelievable plays. They won a bunch of close games. I just don't know if I see that happening again this year. I think that when I look at their rooms individually, if I look at their tight end room, if I look at their wide receiver room, if I look at their running back room, I don't think they have an elite room. I don't think that there's a room out there that I am like, oh, that's really good. And that includes offensive line. And so I think going into that, you say quarterback is the only really elite space that they have that's on that team. And
no. I did not say that. I said according to the draft of the.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say you. I'm saying within myself, if I'm talking myself through that process, I'm saying then if I'm talking myself through the process of they're not any elite rooms, then you come to the conclusion that the quarterback is the only elite room on the team. And it reminds me a little bit of where the Ravens were very early in Lamar's career, where he had not a lot of talent that was surrounding him. He was really good, but they could never get over the hump because it just wasn't working. And this is kind of where it reminds me of a little bit of that. You have a defensive minded coach, right? John Harbaugh, Dan Quinn. They're very similar in terms of stylistically and the way they approach the game. I would say I would love to be all in on Deebo. I would love to draft Deebo. I think one of the appeals of Terry McLaurin is that he's had 5 seasons in a row of 1,000 yards receiving. Now, Terry McLaurin sitting out and not being a part of a mini camp, not being a part of any of the training camps. What do we normally see when people do that? Ayuk last year.
Slow start.
Before. Slow starts or you get hurt. And the number one thing about Terry McLaurin in the past 5 years, he's missed 3 games total. So if I'm taking consistency, right? Like you don't always have 100-yard games, but you always have 60 or 70-yard games because you show up and you're there and you're getting 6 to 7 targets. If I can't guarantee that with Terry McLaurin, then I'm out. And so to me, it's just it's a lot of the same stuff. Now, my opinion is subject to change based off of new information that I receive at any moment of time. So if you tell me that they trade Terry McLaurin straight up for Tyreek Hill, oh boy, I'm back in on the Washington Commanders. I just feel like, to me, if I'm looking at it, betting it from a division perspective, you're talking about minus 140 for the Philadelphia Eagles or plus 200 for the Commanders. I'm probably laying the minus 140 on the best roster in the NFL for sure.
Definitely. I think the juice is definitely worth the squeeze there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it'll be closer. It'll be, curious to see how it plays out closer and how that roster finishes up.
I don't want to say this too. They're building the roster, right? They're starting with drafting guys in the trenches. They will have a good defensive line. They're finally starting to put together that offensive line as well too. I think it's a work in progress. I just don't think this is a year where we're going to say they go 12-5 again or anything like that.
I definitely think there's going to be a small regression. We'll see. We'll see how much it is. And then we get to the absolute dumpster fire that is the Dallas Cowboys, 7-10 last year. And they're over under 7.5 this year. And that is a very intriguing number to me.
Love that over.
Yeah, I mean, you think that Dak was pretty much out majority of last year, correct?
Pretty much the whole year.
Pretty much the whole year. You had Cooper Rush out there. I know they threw Trey Lance out there at the end. You added George Pickens, which I think is a great number 2. It seems to like they're gelling so far with him and CD. Like, I think that could be a scary looking offense. Now, the defensive side, obviously, we have issues with Micah Parsons and what Jerry Jones. I did like his comment. I don't know if you saw it out. He's like, "This is a part of negotiations. It is what it is. Cowboy fans, don't lose sleep. He's not going anywhere." And I'm just like, man, this guy. But, it's kind of the same thing we said with Myles Garrett. He's like, "I'm never playing for the Browns again." Bah. Oh, $41 million a year. I'm in for the Browns.
Yeah.
But, I do like CD's point. It's like, man, it just doesn't have to be like this. Just pay him. Like, and I don't know what Jerry does with this, because to your point, you said this over and over again. You're not going to let him go. So just pay the man. And that is a great point from Justice. I mean, could you imagine Derrick Henry on that team as well? If he continues to produce, that would have opened up so much. And that's going to be my biggest issue with the Cowboys with the 7.5 is that running back room. So you have Javonte Williams that comes over from Denver. Had some good spurts over there.
Love Javonte Williams since he went to North Carolina. I've been a big Javonte Williams fan. I think he's a 3-down back. I think he's really good. He can catch the ball to the backfield.
I think with that running back room, he's probably going to be a 4-down back. I mean, you got Javonte Williams, and next you have Miles Sanders, and then Jaden Blue and Deuce Vaughn.
Supposedly Miles Sanders came in with an incredible shape, looking great. Jaden Blue obviously was incredible for Texas last year, leading them to the college football playoff. And then who was the other one that you said? Vaughn?
Deuce Vaughn.
He's more kick return specialist, but just lightning in a bottle if you can get the ball in his hands.
Miles Sanders was on Carolina last year. Is that right?
He was. And then obviously a longtime running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. And there was talk of him going back to Philly, and Philly didn't want him. And so he's had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Supposedly he came into training camp looking incredible, looking ripped, ready to go. So
Jeff will be targeting Miles Sanders in the late rounds.
I probably won't. I'll say this. We've talked about a few offenses that you want. There's very niche space in those offenses that you want to target somebody. In my opinion, when it comes to the Eagles or when it comes to the Commanders, I think that in this offense, I'm cool with getting anybody. I'm cool with Jake Ferguson. I'm cool with George Pickens. I'm cool with CeeDee Lamb. I'm cool with Javonte Williams. I'm cool with Dak Prescott. I'm cool with all of them. For the simple fact I don't really trust their defense that much. And I think there are going to be shootout games that you're going to see played in the 30s and the 40s. And I want all parts of that in fantasy football. So yes, while I'm not a Cowboys fan and I don't particularly care if they win, lose, or if Jerry Jones dies, I do want part of I don't care.
Seems aggressive.
Yeah, I guess maybe, but no, I do. I want parts of that offense for sure. Now CeeDee Lamb will probably not be viable for me depending on what draft I'm a part of, but the other ones are very targetable and very reachable for however you want. So, and I don't mind reaching a round or two for some of them because, like I said, I do think that defense is going to struggle a little bit, and I do think that if you're going to target guys and you want guys, go after them and get them.
Jeff definitely does not mind the reach around.
No. I've been good at it since I was 13 years old.
So you're taking the over 7.5, yeah?
I like the over 7.5 here for sure.
I think so as well. And like you said, I definitely
they went 7 and 10. Yeah, they went 7 and 10 with no Dak. I mean, you give me Dak back. I mean, listen, one thing about Dak, we give him a bunch of shit, but he puts up points. He can move the ball down the field for sure. Yeah, so
I agree. Well, last but not least in the NFC is the East is the New York Giants, who did some interesting things in the offseason. We brought in Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, drafted Jackson Dart, and apparently Tommy DeVito has been moved down to 4th string. Obviously, Malik Neighbors coming off his rookie year. And then did they bring in Tyrone Tracy? No, they drafted Cam Scatterbo.
He was already there. Tyrone Tracy was. Yep.
Yeah, they drafted Cam Scatterbo to add to the backfield, which a lot of people are very high on. Now this they were 3-14. This one was 5.5. Yeah, I don't even know. I'm not educated enough to comment on that one. I think 6 wins would be. I think if the Giants had 6 wins, I think they would be very ecstatic, and I think the coaching staff would keep their jobs. But you're going to need to see a lot. I do think you're going to see a better Giants team than you saw last year. But I also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, I do believe they have the hardest schedule in the NFL this year, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember when the Bears were coming up, I think the Bears were 3rd. I think the Giants were either 2 or 1. If that's the case, then yeah, I don't think that over hits at all.
I always hate these metrics.
Yeah, and then when you're looking at go ahead.
No, just like who. So we're relying on somebody else to project out what we think. It's the same thing that I argue with this about college football preseason rankings. Like we're saying that they have the hardest schedule, like on paper, right? Like I don't understand that argument. I think
that's a little different between the NFL and college. I think that's a little different though. Between you can pretty much
the mindset is the same though. Is what I'm saying is that okay. For instance. Right, Ohio State and Texas coming out in the coaches poll preseason number 1 and number 2.
Right.
Okay. They play week 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see who's better on the field. And I think that it gives such an unfair advantage to teams that are ranked and the teams that have been projected to potentially be good this year to stay there, as opposed to teams that have to come from, being ranked 75th and all of a sudden they're undefeated after 8 weeks. And you're like, yeah, but they weren't really supposed to be that good. So is this real or is this not? They don't get the same respect as teams that were already put up there. I would rather just have it be 4 or 5 weeks in. Now we release the first polls and go from there.
Well, that's why that's the AP poll, and that's why the BCS poll doesn't come out through about midway through the season.
They don't have a BCS poll, but okay. So the AP and the coaches factor the AP.
They come out with the BCS rankings like halfway through.
It's not BCS rankings though. It's whatever the College Football Playoff Committee projects and puts forward. It's the teams that they pick. Now they could use a formula that has something to do with that. But,
well, of course they do. They just don't pull teams out of the hat. Otherwise, it would be all SEC teams all the time.
This is part of the narrative that I fucking hate. Anyway, I think it's the same thing with the projection of like, this is going to be the toughest schedule in the NFL. Like, you have no clue what this schedule is going to be.
I think you can a little bit more with the NFL versus the college, because the NFL has a stable roster. There's few changes that have been made or coaching staff. You can pretty much predict. I mean,
the NFL is the biggest parity league that we have.
Look at the that's a good point. So maybe 3 times make a note of this. So when we come back next week, we're going to take the 2024 over under totals, and we're going to see where they actually landed and see how close that they came to those. Fair enough? And then we can pick that up later. As far as the New York Football Giants, they do have the hardest schedule. They do have the hardest schedule on paper, as Jeffrey likes to point out, which is not good for a team that's struggling. And then when you go to look at their actual depth chart and who you want to, I guess, target in there. I mean, obviously Malik Neighbors, number 2 last year in total targets with 170, only 5 behind Jamar Chase and 12 ahead of Drake London. That's obviously something that's going to be there, but that's also something that other defensive coordinators are going to hone in on, which is why I think Wan'Dale Robinson is going to be a great value. I think you can pick him up in like 9-10 round. That might be a good one. They did bring in, I don't know who that is. Russell Wilson obviously is an improvement over Danny Dimes, even though I think Danny Dimes has potential. But again, that's the same old thing that we talk about with rookie quarterbacks and everything that's been going on. I don't see a whole lot to target and get excited about with the New York Football Giants outside. Now, Tony Tracy Jr. could have a good run. I just think that with him, Singletary, and now you added Scatterbo in it, I think that's going to be a complete platoon committee. And I think they're going to need it because they're going to get their shit pushed in all the time. Yes, I said that. Jeffrey reach around, Tyson shit put in, mark it in the books. I don't like anything. I think for me, I don't know. I mean, obviously, again, they have Malik Neighbors as probably the number 2 to 3 wide receiver on the big board this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's worth that. I don't know if he's a top 5 pick in NFL fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd hope for a better quarterback situation if I'm going to spend that much capital on a wide receiver. So to me,
we do have Jameis Winston sitting there. If Russell Wilson gets hurt,
let's be real.
Then Neighbors skyrockets.
Well, yeah.
Yes,
yeah. Like, I mean, look at what Jerry Jeudy did with Jameis at quarterback for like a stretch there was unreal.
Absolutely.
Okay, a few things here. I do want to say that I think that Russell Wilson is not the right decision at all. Now, however, I'm not in charge of this organization, so they're going to go wherever they want to. I did love the Jackson Dart pick. I've been saying for a while, I thought Jackson Dart was one of the better quarterbacks in this draft. I would have taken him high. I'm glad that the Giants have the same vision that I do. And I've stated this many times, I'm a huge Brian Daboll fan. I think they're in a weird spot, kind of like Cleveland is. You have 3 quarterbacks that all could be vying and who think that they maybe should have some, and maybe even 4 with DeVito, because DeVito's been there, and he knows the offense and he's been a part of it. Dart is not ass justice, but that's okay. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I'm obviously not targeting anybody on this team, but I will say the running back room is interesting to me. And I saw this from our friends over at Pop Sports, TJ and Buff. TJ put out a little short the other day about how Tony Tracy is being drafted 1 round ahead of Cam Scatterbo, and about how it's kind of ridiculous. He doesn't think that, Scatterbo should be drafted 1 round after him. There's a big discrepancy in terms of where they are on the depth chart.
Singletary is like not even drafted, by the way.
Scatterbo's already been hurt in camp and so on and so forth. My argument about this is this. If I'm drafting a Tony Tracy Jr., shout out to Tony Tracy, by the way, him and Becky, who just had a baby as well, too. God bless you guys. Hope everything's well. But if I'm drafting Tony Tracy Jr., it's probably as like something on my depth chart on my bench, right? I'm not drafting him. I mean, maybe he's an upside RB3 in a flex play some weeks, but what weeks are you trusting Tony Tracy Jr. to go out there and perform for you? I don't know. That's tough, especially at the beginning of the year. So then, if
somebody that held Singletary stock last year, it was very disheartening to watch him take over. I thought Singletary was still putting up good numbers, but
so I don't like, how many 100-yard games are you expecting from Tony Tracy Jr.? I guess is my question. And then, so if I project that out, then I'm saying I'd rather, if I'm going to go with one of the two, I'd rather take a flyer with upside on my bench. And that's why I think Cam Scatterbo is not a bad pick, because I think by the end of the year, we're talking about a team that might not fully be together, but you want to show what you have in the future if you're that coaching staff, right? Like, you don't need, if you're going to get a vote of confidence, I don't need to throw Jameis out there and have him pepper Malik Neighbors. I want to show you that Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo can run a little bit of an option offense and my vision for what I have in the future. And I think that might be a reason to go ahead and take Scatterbo and stash him as well, too.
Well, I think we can agree on one thing, and I'm sure everybody across it can agree with the Giants' backfield is going to be a giant question mark for the entire season.
Yeah.
Let's go do it for the NFC portion. Let's get over to the AFC portion here, where we have our reigning champions. Not the reigning champions that played in the NFC. The Buffalo Bills at 13-4 last year. Over under this year's 11.5. Obviously, fantasy targets are Josh Allen and Josh Allen and Josh Allen.
Yes.
Outside of Josh Allen, who's he throwing the ball to? Is it Khalil Shakir? Is it Dalton Kincaid? Who is he actually going to be throwing the ball to? Now James Cook is holding out for a new contract.
Holding in, not holding out. So
I apologize.
That's a new thing now as well too.
Yeah, I can hold in so I don't get paid.
I will be honest with you. The guy that I am targeting on this team, especially with his ADP and where he's at, is going to be Keon Coleman. I think that
definitely down on the bottom
athletically and where you're going to be able to get him for value on. I think another year of rapport with Josh. I think the hands and the athleticism that we've seen from Keon, whether it be in college or even his first year in the NFL, I think Keon Coleman is going to be a great play this year. Khalil Shakir, obviously going to be coming out of the slot, but he might get honed in a little bit on as well too. And once again,
Keon Coleman's a Florida State guy. I should have known that.
He's a Michigan State guy. We rented him for 1 year, but he's actually a Louisiana guy. He's athletic. He's a hell of a basketball player as well too. I always like guys who played two sports at a very high level. I like Keon Coleman a lot for sure, and
Speaking
they do too.
Which, shout out to Antonio Gates in the Hall of Fame, never playing it down of college football. Congratulations, basketball player. To your point, yeah. I mean, what was Kincaid's workload last year? I don't remember him jumping off the page.
Wasn't
who
off the page.
Who got the ball? Who got the ball last year?
Everybody, it kind of got spread around a lot. To be honest with you, I mean, they had a lot of different options on that team, and they ran the ball a lot as well too. If we're going to be honest, I mean, it was James Cooks, it was Ray Davis, it was Ty Johnson, it was Dawson Knox, it was Dalton Kincaid, it was Khalil Shakir, it was Keon Coleman, it was Curtis Samuel, it was it was just a lot. They spread it around a lot. I don't know. This is the biggest question mark. I've already stuck my flag in a team in this division that is not the Bills that I like, and so for me, it's tough to. Oh, they had Mac Hollins as well too. That's right. Thank you, Justice. Mac Hollins was on there as well, so that was another weapon they had that's no longer there.
I just had him up from somewhere. Where did he go?
He went to the Patriots.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I literally had
about his shirt, and he wears no shoes, and whatever. What up, Buff? What's going on, Buff?
Thank God we got past our targets before Buff got in here. Yeah. So what do you think? Can we repeat last year over
what's
12 wins or more?
Under? I'll take the under 12.
Yeah, I reserve to answer at a later time. Yeah, I don't.
Sure, can I do that too? I thought we were just like. We were having to put our stamps out here, and this is what we were.
No, actually, what we'll do is the show right before we'll do it all. We'll just list them all right then and there. Dolphins.
I did not. First of all, hold on, real quick, Justice. Nobody shitted on the Cowboys. We said we want every part of their offense. We said the defense might be a little bit suspect this year. We want their over on wins. We think they'll be better than the Commanders this year. Why are you putting fake news out here, Justice?
We shit on Jerry Jones.
We definitely shit on Jerry Jones. He should be shit on. He probably likes.
Let's get into we're gonna move on. Easy. Let's get into the Miami Dolphins. 8-9 last year, 8.5 over under. I definitely think that the Dolphins can improve. I feel like that locker room's in shambles, to be perfectly honest with you. I think
100%.
Is it Mike McDaniels? Is that the coach?
Yep. Yeah.
I don't think he's got control of that team. I think he tried to be the loosey goosey, like, hey, I'm one of you type of guys.
Can't be everybody's friend.
Yeah, I don't think that they've gotten into that. And that that's when we start talking about fantasy football, which it starts wondering, like, Tyreek Hill obviously had a terrible year last year. Jalen Waddle was non-existent. And then Tua can't seem to figure out how to slide without diving headfirst. We watched him come back from his concussion in the very first series. He dove headfirst again. And I'm just like, dude, I understand that it's like in your body, right? And how you slide and how you do this and how you do that. But dude, something's got to change, bro, or you're going to end up a vegetable. We sit there and talked about whether he should even hang it up or not last year. And the first game back, he dies head first. So I do like Zachy Wilson sitting behind him at number 2. I think Zach Wilson's going to get some playing time. And then I don't know if you saw Quinn Ewers.
I don't think it'll be Zach Wilson. I think it'll be Quinn Ewers, but
that would make more sense, right? Because obviously we've seen some stuff. But again, you never know. I think this whole Sam Darnold thing and some of the stuff that we're seeing with some of these regurgitated quarterbacks that are coming back out after 3 to 5 years and playing at a better level, I think it's given, some of these other guys a little bit of hope, that maybe got thrown to the fire.
Yeah.
One of the big things that I'm curious about is the running back situation here with Devon Achane or whatever you want to call it. He's projected in the top 10 as far as running backs at fantasy this year. And I don't know why. He was 15th last season. And that was without Tua for the majority of the time. So you have to figure Tua, they'd be throwing the ball a little bit more. I think that's pretty high. Well, no, I think without Tua, he should have got more touches. So last year would probably have been a spike as far as his touches. But
I disagree, because I think if you're talking about Tua, then now all of a sudden you're planning for a deep shot and you have to be a little bit more on your edge of stepping up when play action happens, right? So if you're going to go and you're going to think like you're going to run the ball, if Tua's not in there, you're not worried about getting beat over the top. So now all of a sudden you can just kind of commit and go from there, whereas opposed to
we're talking about a running back. We're talking about a running back right now, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're talking about linebackers engaging, right? You're talking about linebackers.
No, I'm just talking about the touches and everything. That's all.
Right. But what I'm saying is,
who else was in the backfield with him last year?
He had Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. What I'm saying is that the quality of touches is something that I think is very interesting, because with Tua there, right? I think if you were to look at his numbers with Tua and without Tua, his numbers with Tua are probably way better, because defenses have to respect a play action. Where I would agree with that for a quick second, and he's going to have better numbers when he has a quarterback who's legitimately strikes fear in defenses.
My question is, do we trust Mike McDaniels to have this team ready? Last year, I don't know. Tyreek Hill came out and said that he didn't even know what the offense was the first 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
You didn't understand it.
I'm super confused about the entire thing because it's just been so in the open as well, too. Mike McDaniel calling Tyreek an idiot, saying he doesn't know what he's talking about. Tyreek saying he doesn't understand why Achane's in there on third downs when he's not a goal line back. Makes no sense. They're having this back and forth in public. Mike McDaniel coming out and saying it's a great day to be alive. And they said, why is it great and not good? And he said, it's because we're one day closer to death. That's a wild statement. Is this guy enjoying life at all right now? Or does he just actually want to jump off the top of the contemporary? I'm not really sure. And so, what's their over under here on what we're looking at? I do think Devon Achane has a chance to be great if he can stay healthy this year. And I do think that if you're looking, while Tua is there, Waddle and Tyreek are still going to be super viable. Tyreek, I don't think volume wise anymore. Well, I guess, yeah, your point. He wasn't there for the majority of the season. And they did it to appear the team quit at one point. I think Tyreek took himself out of the game at one point, right? I think they quit towards the end of the year. There's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on in Miami. It's a lot.
A lot of distractions, man. A lot of distractions in Miami.
And you're in Miami. You're in Fort Lauderdale.
Tyreek's house burned down again. I think he just had another baby. I think he's up to 15. I don't. As much as I would love to say Devon Achane or Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle any of them are like, hey, I don't think I can take any of them. And I've seen on all of my mock drafts that Waddle is there, and I passed on him every single time.
Yeah, I'll probably take Waddle. It depends on where. Yes, rest in peace, Beaches. What's up, JJ? How you doing, man? Rest in peace, Steve Beach. Absolutely, Buff. Thank you.
Yeah. Way to break it down, Buff. Yeah.
Well, I was the one who said jump off the top of the contemporary. So
yeah, I know.
On me, not him. But
I don't know. I don't know. Anything to wrap up the Dolphins. Honestly, I just until I
this
see
is all
going to
depend on.
this
is
don't
all going to depend on ADP. This is all going to depend on where you can get value at here. If you can get the people,
but is it really value?
And you can get them around later. I do think it's value. Absolutely.
What is the value? Hold on. What is the value? First of all, we talked about how we think that the locker room is in complete disarray. We think that Mike McDaniels doesn't have control over the team.
No.
Tua is literally one concussion away from the graveyard.
Yes.
And so where am I getting the value?
I like their backup situation a lot better this year than I did the previous years, though. Let's be honest. We're comparing Skylar Thompson to fucking Quinn Ewers and Zach Wilson. I'll take that backup all day long as opposed to what they've had before.
I mean,
it matters. It does matter. I'm
not saying. Why do you think that the Bucs are so comfortable with Kyle Trask? I get it. Mitchell Trubisky in Buffalo. That's because their third string got hurt. Let's not overplay this, guys.
EJ says Dolphins are Super Bowl bound. They've been to playoffs 2 out of the last 3 years.
Is the Super Bowl in Miami?
It was interesting the trading Minkah Fitzpatrick to now trading back for Minkah Fitzpatrick. I feel like is very interesting. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to make of their defense this year in general. I feel like I need to watch the first few weeks to be a better judge. Obviously, having Chubb there, and I don't know. I don't know. Like, are their linebackers going to be good? I
think that's just a great point right there. We just don't know what the Dolphins are going to do. We don't know. Not only do we not know what the Dolphins are going to do, we don't know how committed the Dolphins are actually to playing good football.
But I can tell you this. Hard Rock has them as the third favorites in that division to win the division. So at plus 750.
So they must have the Jets over them?
No, they do not.
Patriots?
My team, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Let's go on to the New York Football Jets here.
Sure,
5-12 last year. Another shambles of a season this year. It's 5.5. So the Vegas is not looking up very much. They did sign Justin Fields in the offseason, which I was very happy with. Then, of course, we had the toe scare, which apparently he got carted off with the toe jam or the dislocated toe, which was promptly fixed and put back.
Well, he got on a cart and he rode off. I don't know.
Well, that was the thing is everyone was leaking. Everyone was leaking it, but nobody knew, right? It was one of those things where everybody's tweeting, everybody's on the, when the guys used to run to the payphone bank to try to get the information out first. Nobody knew exactly what was happening. I mean, I saw as much as carted off the field with a significant leg injury. Like, it's just been so much bullshit. That's just where we're at as far as
like Caleb Williams. He cracks a nail, you got to cart him off, bro. You got to get that fixed.
I wish that guy would just help himself out a little bit, bro. I understand you're cool with it. Gosh, but let's not get in there. We're saving that, and that's going to be a hell of a conversation when we get to that one. So Justin Fields is your starting quarterback. Breece Hall is your running back. Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, and brought in Alan Lazard staying. And then we have Mason Taylor as our tight end. Okay. Not
you
really.
Know who Mason Taylor is?
He's out of LSU.
Yeah.
And
do you know who his dad is?
No.
Let's play this game. Real quick. I think Dad played for the Jets at one point. More known for the Dolphins. His aunt is a very famous host.
So you're talking about Jay Taylor?
Yes. Yeah.
All you had to say was Dolphins. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, okay, whatever. We got a new guy coming in. I like it. Obviously, fantasy targets here. Garrett Wilson, I think is going to be a lock. Last year alone, where was he at? Oh wow, he didn't. I thought for sure he was. Oh, it's because you're on the running backs, Tyson. Where are you? Garrett Wilson was tied for fourth with Justin Jefferson at 154 touches, and that's with Aaron Rodgers that was basically running for his life the entire time. I think that Justin Fields is going to add a lot of things to this offense. And what do I think it's going to add? It's just going to be wheels, to Jeff's point, as far as the Tua and the Dolphins being able to respect the run. You're going to have to, I mean, let's be honest, for everything that Justin Fields fails at as far as getting through his progressions and sometimes his deep balls, his legs make up for everything. And he is a freak athlete. And so I definitely think Garrett Wilson is definitely one here. Justin Fields, possibly, depending on where you're at and what type of strategy. I do believe he's going in like between the 7th and 9th rounds, which is pretty good. My questions for this team and this roster is definitely the backfield. Okay, so we have Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, both very capable running backs. Who's going to get the touches? Who's not? I think this one is definitely going to be a running back by committee. I definitely think your targets is definitely Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson here. But again, that just goes on your strategy. If you're not going to take a quarterback early, this one would be definitely a good field. But I also feel like if you draft Justin Fields, you need a backup. A lot of times when you draft a high quarterback, you don't necessarily have the backup right off the rip because you're confident that they can go the first 5 weeks. I would not do that with Justin Fields. He could get hurt at any moment. I definitely think that you have to have some type of a viable backup here. But Garrett Wilson, definitely the target coming out of this football team for fantasy.
I love every part of this offense. I will have. I don't know how many shares I'll have of Jets, but I do really like Garrett Wilson. I do really like Breece Hall. I like Braylon Allen if you're looking for a supplemental back as well, too, on the later rounds. I think Justin Fields is going to be a great fantasy quarterback. I think one thing that you always saw Justin did as well, too, if you look at a guy like Cole Kmet, who made his hay basically with Justin Fields at quarterback because he did utilize the tight end a lot as well. So I'm all in on all of it. I love it. I think the Taylor kid is probably going undrafted. Might be a guy to be able to target. Super late, very last round as a flyer, who you never know what can happen. Don't mind it whatsoever. I like what the Jets are doing. They're committing to one thing. Let's roll it out there and let's go with it.
Well, as we've seen throughout Justin Fields' career, Ohio State and the Bears, if the number one receiver can get slightly open, even not really open, as long as he's not double teamed, Justin Fields will throw the ball there.
Also, they did slightly overlap together at Ohio State.
They did play a year together.
There. So there was a year that they had together that they were there. So that's good already as well, too, to be able to create a little bit of chemistry. Obviously, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson both get big contracts this offseason, and they committed some money to Justin Fields for him to be the quarterback for the next few years, too. So I'm with it.
2 years. Yeah, 2 years. I think it was $40 million total. Yeah. I mean, yeah, whatever. Good backup money, making $20 million a year. I like it. We'll see what happens. Backups are making $20 million a year.
What backup makes $20 million?
Kyle Trask.
He does not make $20 million. He does.
Poor guy's just riding the gravy train out, dude. I love him.
Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming out of a multimillionaire, never.
I will say, like, if you're going to take a flyer on something, plus 1750 seems like a crazy number to win a division for the New York Football Jets. So,
yeah, I think you could just light your money on fire for that.
Yeah.
Just like I think you could light your money on fire for the Patriots that we're going to get into next year. So 4-13.
Shedeur Sanders, Offensive Rookie of the Year money, you say?
He's starting on Thursday, so we'll see what happens.
I know.
Patriots 4-13 last year, over under 7.
Real quick before we get to the Patriots, do you know the conspiracy theory on that?
Which one?
So that they've given him no reps whatsoever in training camp, and that it's a setup to fail type of situation where they're so sick of people clamoring for him to get reps, they're going to throw him in, make him look terrible for a half so that nobody ever asks about it again. It's an interesting gamble.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
if he goes out and lights it up, then you're like, oh shit.
Well, according to what I've seen, the stats that are coming out, even with the third or fourth or whatever, he's like lighting it up, like 6
lighting it up.
Like,
yeah. I've loved this.
There's a conspiracy as well. It's like when you took Dylan Gabriel, you don't want your 6th round pick outshining your 4th round pick.
Of course, then you look foolish.
At the end of the day, do you really think? I mean, the owner comes out and says Shedeur Sanders was not my pick. Like, at the end of the day, just win football games. Nobody gives a shit. Put the best person in there.
You're not going to win a lot of football games as the Browns right now, anyway.
No,
so.
Anyway. Neither is this team, the New England Patriots, even though Jeff thinks they're going to have just a miraculous turnaround after a 4-win season last year. Their win total last year, to Jeff's point, as far as how do they know, their win total last year was 4.5. And I do know that one because
I had the exact same opinion. They were going to be terrible last year.
And they came out and beat the Bengals in week 1, and I was like, wait a minute. And
who picked that week 1 as well too, if we remember correctly?
I don't know.
It was like one of the only shorts we put out while I was in Copenhagen.
I don't remember. My memory's not so good.
Whatever.
Starting lineup here: Drake May, Ramondre Stevens, Stephon Diggs, Demario Douglas, Mac Hollins. That's who we just talked about. Hunter Henry. And when it comes to this one in fantasy teams, I think that definitely Hunter Henry should be on your target. I do believe with him last year, Hunter Henry had one of the biggest target shares that was out there. I think Drake May could be serviceable in a deeper pick. And then Stephon Diggs. I saw a reel the other day that says how to lose your fantasy league. Or this was your reminder that Stephon Diggs is 31-year-old washed up problem. Do not draft him no matter what. And then it was crazy though, because literally the draft before that, I'm like, God, he's like what? The 9th round? A wide receiver 1 at 9. Yeah. Okay, I'm taking him. And then that reel immediately popped up. I was like, okay.
Fuck those people, bro. You know what the worst part about social media is? You open up Twitter, you open up whatever it is, Instagram, and it goes, I gave you guys like fucking whoever it was last year, these 3 guys, and they won you fantasy leagues. And, here's the guys you need to have this year. They all have the exact same template. Who cares? Shut up. Who cares? Like, shut up.
I saw this one guy that was so set on Ashton Genty over Derrick Henry. And I'm like,
sure. Okay, cool. Perfect. Whatever. Like, cool. Wonderful. Congratulations. Maybe it happens. Maybe it doesn't. We'll find out in fucking 30 weeks. Like, get out of here.
I like this one here. Diggs about to have that Cardi B slump.
Hey, with what he's passing out at parties, there ain't no slump busters in there, baby. Listen, and also, let's be honest, that shows, like I said, character that you're willing to share with everybody to make sure everybody has a great time. I've seen great rapport about Diggs so far in camp as well, too. I think they had a nice amount of supplemental pieces around Drake May. I think they've improved the running game tremendously with TreVeyon Henderson to go along with Ramondre Stevenson. I love Hunter Henry this year in fantasy. I think you get a lot of Hunter Henry looks this year. He's going to catch a lot of balls. And I do really like Stephon Diggs on the outside to go along with Demario Douglas, to go along with Polk, to go along with Mac Hollins, who can open it up over the top.
Who was the other one? Polk?
I like it.
Oh,
Jalen Polk.
Him as third string down there.
Yeah, but I mean, he's there. Like he was just basically wide receiver 1 last year. So I mean, to now have him at wide receiver 3 or 4, in my opinion, is good. And
what about that Boutte?
Keyshawn Boutte. I mean, he was great with LSU. We haven't seen him do a lot so far in the NFL, but as a slot guy coming out of the slot, yeah, absolutely. Give me some Keyshawn.
Pink
for sure. And if you look at what they've done, right? Look at how the Patriots have drafted. They've obviously been terrible for the past few years, but they've tried to build a lot of things through the line. I think their defensive line and their defense is going to be pretty good this year. And let's not mention the biggest acquisition that they made this offseason, Mike fucking Vrabel. Okay, how many years, Tyson, have we talked about the Vrabel effect? When he was with shitty Tennessee and it didn't matter. We're like, why are we taking Ryan Tannehill and Mike Vrabel? Because Vrabel can coach and he knows how to cover games. And he's going to keep you in it no matter what to the very end. He's never going to give up. I think the Vrabel effect is something that's super understated here. And yeah, I really like it.
Just all in on the Patriots. I think you've been hanging around Paul too much.
I have not at all. I think I've seen Paul once in the past 3 months. So this is just my own thought process. I think Drake May is going to be a decent, serviceable quarterback as long as he does not turn the ball over this year. Yeah, I think they're going to have a chance to.
Is that not any quarterback is a serviceable quarterback as long as they don't turn the ball over?
I think Jameis was always serviceable and still turned the ball over.
He still has the record. Was it 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions?
Yeah, it was a special year. It was a special year. One I'll never forget.
They should
you know how he ended that year? Do you know how he ended that year?
Isn't that when he got LASIK afterwards? I'm like, damn, I was blind.
Afterwards, he thought Bruce Arians was black. He said, he ended that year on a pick 6 against the Falcons to end the game. You can't make it up. I mean, you literally, legitimately cannot fucking make it up.
Well, I'll tell you, that's going to wrap it up for the East talks, man. I'm really excited. We're going to keep some of the South and the North will be our last two, obviously, but I can't wait to break down the Bucs offense this year. I really cannot wait for that. I mean,
TJ was texting me yesterday about Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, that wide receiver room, like it's hashtag no breaks for any cornerback. That faces the Bucs. Mike Evans needs a blow, you bring in him. Godwin needs a blow, McMillan's right in there. I mean, do they still have who's the Wiley guy? He was kind of played the Wes Welker role. Scott.
Talking about Scotty Miller.
Yeah, is he still there?
No, he's been gone for a couple of years now. He left when Brady left. So they have a kid now. You're gonna love Tez Johnson, by the way, out of Oregon. Best friends with Bucky Irving. Growing up, Tez is going to be a kick returner, slot guy, kind of do it all. He's a football player. They literally
wow.
The Bucs had the biggest person at Desmond Watson and the smallest person in the league at Tez Johnson. So
and shout out to Desmond over there running laps trying to get to that weight where he can.
And shout out to all the internet trolls who like Desmond put on 55 pounds after they signed him. That's the reason that he's walking laps. Okay.
Probably muscle.
Sure. He put on 55 pounds
of muscle. 55 pounds in a couple months. Like, my God.
His body's just different, man.
You know, I'm going to have to end this on a sad note, though. I did just happen to bring up the depth chart for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and ESPN already has Teddy Bridgewater as QB2.
Sorry, bud. Now, okay, can we say this, though, real quick? Because I don't even know if that's actually factually accurate. They just might be putting shit out there. But the way that Todd Bowles talked is almost like Teddy Bridgewater has come in. He said not only is he a serviceable quarterback, but he's a great voice and a great mind to have in our locker room. So I think this is almost like a quarterback.
Well, I was reading it because Michael Pratt got hurt. And so they wanted to have the depth. That's what I originally saw it. But
didn't
now
Baker missed like 2 days too, or something like that, I think.
Yeah, for sure. You know, we'll see in the preseason. This is my time to shine. You know, this is where all my boys get to play. This is where I get to see Mitchell Trubisky on the field, Kyle Trask. And Kyle Trask last year in preseason lit it up, man. He had great. So, yeah, I actually enjoy watching preseason games because it gets, you know, some of the other people. Justin Fields got to play last year. Of course, he'll be on team one. But NFL preseason does start tomorrow.
I can't wait to hear your breakdown of Kyle Pitts preseason coming up here when we do the South.
I'm not saying that he's in my fantasy drafts. That man's in my fantasy drafts.
Yeah, finish the statement.
I just hope that, you know, everybody else is, you know, just, you know, whatever, let him go. Because I'll tell you, when I first started doing my mock drafts, I was getting him in like round 11.
Yeah.
Now it's bumped up quite a bit since Michael Penix made his comments of that's going to be happening a lot this year.
That they play golf together. I saw somebody comment, like, do I get fantasy points for birdies made on the golf course as well, too? Because
I think now, honestly, I'm just going to bring up this last one here. I've been doing some fantasy football drafts here. I don't think this one was. No, that's big difference also between the one that we do, like the practice round, right? And in our league, that's all autos draft to everyone else. They do throw in some curveballs here every once in a while. But then you go to do like a 12-man, like an actual draft, and it does not follow it whatsoever. So if you're out there doing practice drafts out there in fantasy land, and you're going into your league's practice draft where it basically takes your teams and does it, please make sure that you go outside of it and do another one, because let me tell you, it is completely different. But I do have a dark horse tight end that I don't think anybody is going to be targeting, that I've been literally able to pick up in rounds 11 and 12. So we'll see. And I'll tell you who that is when that comes down to it.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a dark horse, baby. I don't know. I can't see where this is going. I can't see the email. I probably deleted it, but I think Kyle Pitts now is going something like in the 7th or 8th round right now. But yeah, we'll see what happens. There's plenty of tight ends out there, folks. Once you get past like the first top 2, Brock Bowers, George Kittle, those are going to be probably the 2 biggest tight ends that come off the boards really quick. Yeah. Outside of that, when you go to look at their stats and the difference, especially in projected, you're talking about anywhere from 20 to 30 points. Now, 20 to 30 points over, 16 games or 17 games now? Let's do 16, just be safe. I mean, that's 1.87 points per game. Not something you have to jump out there. Just I see it. It has nothing to do with being a typical Gator or the fact that his helmet is over there somewhere. It's just kind of like Anthony Richardson. The guy's just an absolute freak. We saw what he did on the field. We just need to translate. That's all.
On the Colts depth charts, there are dual QB1s. Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson together. Real quick, just to do a quick rundown of what we had in terms of over-unders on wins. Eagles, over-under 11.5. We have the over. Commanders, over-under 9.5. We have the under. Cowboys, over-under 7.5. We both agreed over, I believe. Giants, I think we disagreed here. You like the under on the Giants 5.5. I love the over on the 5.5 for the Giants as well too. Buffalo Bills 11.5. You reserved your thought to make a pick. I went ahead and took the under 11.5. Dolphins at 8.5. I'm gonna go under here. Jets 5.5. I like the over, and Patriots 7.5. I actually like the over, and I like a little sprinkle on them to be able to win that division for you as well too.
Living in a fantasy world, man. Living in a fantasy world. All right, everybody. That is going to do it for us today on the Uninformed Fan.
I'll say this, though, about that. Right? How many times do we see a worst to first happen? Happens all the time, right? In the NFL. I think it's happened every single year. A team that was in last place in their division ended up winning the division the very next year. And for the past, I don't know. It's been a lot of years, I believe. I don't know. But anyway,
how many times has an NFL team gone from worst in their division to winning the next year?
Was that ChatGPT?
Of course. We are searching the web. We're still searching the West. Let's see here. Actually, yeah, a lot more than you think.
Yeah, I think it's happened every year. I don't know if it happened last year. The Broncos.
This said, interestingly, no team went from last place in 2023 to win their division 2024, making 2024 the first such season since 2019 where it did not occur.
Yeah.
Happens. I just don't. I might give it to you if the Bills weren't in that division. That's all.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, Justice. We are live every Wednesday now, all the way up till football season. And then we are still hammering out our football schedule. It will most likely return to Fridays and Mondays, but we're still working on that. Got some details to work out behind the scenes. 3 times is doing his thing, and Jeffrey's doing his thing, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. Oh, there's a private chat over here. Didn't happen last 2 years. Oh, there he is. There is the 3-time. Yes, we are ramping up. This is going to be our biggest hurrah here, right? So we've been doing this show now for years, I believe. Correct, Jeffrey?
How many? 3.
3 years. 3 years we've been doing this show. Wow. And yeah, so we're
for our own entertainment.
We're going, but this year for football season, we're going guns blazing. We're going to actually try to grow the channel. We're actually going to try to do some stuff and branch out. And then we'll see what happens after that. I still need to determine whether I'm flying out to Vegas or not to put in our Circuit of Millions. Actually, there's a couple football players in this community that I think I could get on our podcast.
I did see good friend Logan Ryan just got announced as one of the special analysts for CBS Sports. For NFL this year.
Nice.
So congratulations.
Yeah. 3 times. Any corrections, errors, or omissions?
Not today. You guys did a great job. I was trying to keep up with you. I'm sorry. I was kind of doing like 6 different things at once right now. So
It looked to me like he had explosive diarrhea, the way you kept running off. Do you have explosive diarrhea?
Let's not do this. Let's not do this. Jeremy, anything
What?
you want to add? Anything going on in your life that you want to tell us about? Aren't you're getting on a cruise? Is that correct?
yes. Next Wednesday, I'll be joining you from a cruise ship.
What
Is that
cruise
with
are you going on?
Pound Law?
Yes.
Pound Law?
Yes.
What? Okay, let's not do this. Let's not embarrass my boy. What cruise ship are you going on,
We
Jeremy?
got some color in his face. Look at that.
We are going to be on the Enchantment of the Seas.
Enchantment of the Seas.
There's gonna be some
Beautiful.
enchantment going on
We
that
have
sea.
a few
Actually,
stops that I understand that we have.
Actually, I will not be joining you next Wednesday. Never mind.
Probably a good move.
I will be in Costa Maya, Mexico that day doing a Mayan ritual healing retreat.
Perfect. Do you think it's going to heal you, or what are you hoping to heal? Is there anything that you would
Body,
like
mind,
to
and soul, buddy. Body, mind,
expel
and soul.
from your life, and make that you think you can improve on?
Body, mind, and soul. Let's get it all right.
Body, mind, and soul. Okay, but that's a very general thing of like live, laugh, love. You know what I'm saying?
I know what
like,
you're
is there
trying to get out of me,
anything?
Jeffrey.
I'm not trying to get you out. I'm asking, like live, laugh, love. Like, yeah, I got that up in my house too. It's great. But like, is there anything that you think that you would like to focus on from this beautiful Mayan shaman that you're going to go to?
I'll just get reset everything for the end of the year grind.
Okay.
I apologize. I got way into the pornographic material there for a second. You say you're going to a shaman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mayan shaman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been
On
blessed
top
by
of a
one before
mountain?
too. It was really, really cool.
I don't know. It's not on top of a mountain. We're going to do like a steam room. We're going to do a clay mud bath. Doing a coconut water bath.
Mudding is cool.
Massage, and
we're back.
The final thing is that you get a massage in a hammock. So I hope there's a seatbelt so I don't fall out. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, anybody got any questions for Jeremy about the upcoming trip? Anything we want to put out there and just
And we're back.
see if he answers?
Got 3 times.
It's
Going on a journey.
Heal from making Jeff hit out of a divot. Wow. Yeah, maybe expel some hate in your heart. That's a good one, Buff. That's
Marcus
a good one. I
Buffington.
like that.
Feel the groove, Marcus. We're here with the 3 times.
6-7 years ago. My goodness, still bringing it up.
Listen, some people are still holding on to it. It is what it is.
Well, Jeremy, I'm extremely
I hope you have a
happy
good time.
for you.
Is there any other stops that you're making besides
Cozumel? We're doing Cozumel as well.
Cozumel.
Yep.
Okay.
Careful down there.
Be careful out there. Yeah, please.
Do not leave the
You're-
resort.
You
Lots of
are a
issues down
gringo.
Did you see that?
They
They had like the
just-
military outside the resorts in Cancun and shit.
P's and Q's, bro. P's and Q's right now. There's a lot of shit going on. Just be careful.
No comprende
Costa Maya,
mi
you should be
gringo.
You
Mi
should be fine at
gringo.
Costa Maya. Cozumel. I just don't want to see you get,
Shanked.
I just don't want to see you emasculated in front of anybody.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God! Could that be it? You imagine this. Imagine this. Hold on. Take a journey real quick, right?
Stop.
All right. My
Okay.
name is Jeremy. We got Pound Law. We're having a great time.
Yeah.
We've already done a couple stops. We're feeling
Yeah.
good.
I had
The
a couple
shaman
Michelob
has
Ultras, a
got
couple
ours-
fireballs.
Oh yeah, we're in the groove now. The shaman's got us level. We take a spot. We go to Cozumel. And I get stuck up with a pistol on my back, and I end up crying like a little boy.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Wah, wah,
I
wah.
don't want that for you. So listen,
You're
enjoy
better off
Cozumel.
getting shot,
Do you
dude.
have any
You're
excursions
better off getting
planned
shot.
already?
Don't give
in
him
Cozumel?
anything. Don't back down. Just get shot. Just
Do you have any
look,
excursions planned in
listen,
Cozumel?
Hey, do what you gotta do,
possibly.
bro. You ain't getting
Okay.
anything. Pop out,
Shay,
okay?
it's
gonna be a flesh
Shay
wound.
and his family have gone out down there many times, so they've got a
Cool.
guy that has that takes you out on a boat, gives you
Oh,
drinks.
nice. I've
get a
done that
little
before.
Snorkeling.
It's a great time.
Yep.
Highly,
Hope
highly,
the boat doesn't leave you out
highly,
there.
highly recommend that. Highly recommend that.
Yep.
I do it in Cancun every time I go.
Just make sure the boat remembers to
Stay
pick
on
you
the
up.
boat in Mexico. That's all they're going to is Mexico.
Yeah.
What you talking about? What do you just
sometimes Buff just sometimes
go explore, bro. Go explore.
Yeah.
Listen, bro.
Just get shot. I'm telling you right now, you getting
Don't
shot.
get shot. Jeremy,
Would be one of the best things ever.
Listen
no,
to me
don't just
right
stand
now.
up.
Don't listen
We're not
to him.
going to shoot
Right?
you.
Don't
head.
fucking listen to him.
It's going to be a flesh wound.
It doesn't matter.
And then,
okay, you're still going to get
the
shot. You're going to be in
coming
fucking
back.
Mexico in a hospital.
Bro,
You're going to die,
be fine.
bro.
No, they're going to take good care of you. You're a gringo.
Be emasculated.
You will come back a legend,
Give up your
dude.
Shit. Keep it fucking moving, bro.
You might even get engaged right then and there. She might even you come out home and she's like, Jeremy, I couldn't be without you.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
On that note, we appreciate everybody tuning in and watching today.
Coming back a father.
That shit, that Buff, man, that shit puts out dust now at this age, bro.
Pull out game strong, baby.
Man, shit.
That's gonna
who
do
needs
it
enemies
for
when I
today.
got friends like you?
That's right. Speaking of which, I sent out a text the other day as well. Anybody going out for any adult beverages? Crickets.
Jeremy was working.
Yeah.
I was at the baby shower. So.
Oh, hey, a baby shower. No. Did you go out and have a beverage after the baby shower?
I went and picked my family up at fucking.
Yeah, just because you're on the wagon.
Magic Kingdom.
Whatever. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. That's going to do it for us today on the Under 4 Fan. We are back next Wednesday. And next Wednesday, we are breaking down. Let's do the West. East,
Okay.
West.
I got
South,
some upsets
North.
in there too.
So we will be breaking down the AFC West and the NFC West.
The AFC and the NFC West, yes. Although one of them I'm a little scared about with Matt Stafford, but we'll see.
Yeah, if he's not playing, that's going to be a good thing. We'll see what happens. Until then, if you do have to be out on the road, and even if you're on a cruise ship, please, for the love of God, when you're driving or walking, stay over to the left side. I'm sorry, the right side. Well, I got confused with the walking. Stay over to the right side so people can pass you. Please, for the love of God. Everyone, have a great day. We will see you back next week, 11 a.m.